Hello, for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. I'm here today to talk about the recent video we put out yesterday. It was a small clip for a challenger, and I wanted to talk about the ideas behind it, kind of what led up to it, and then go over the event or the series itself. So to start it off, the idea behind it, and what kind of kicked it off. Challenger is essentially possibly all the ideas I've had since I've been involved in the Beyblade community or competitive Beyblade scene, all combined into one. Um, for those of you that know me, I was running the circuit. The circuit was great. I had a lot of fun. It became very taxing on my family and myself from traveling so much, the money invested into it. We have the store, but we still have a pretty small store. Um, and my focus always has been to try to look out for the community and build a community as best as I can. But I was struggling in some areas with that as far as the taxation it put on my family, as well as even the store. Um, but beyond that, it was also in. I felt like at the time it was in conflict with what was going on in Florida um, because of the summer games and then also the World Cup, and I didn't want to interfere with that. Those were some things I didn't want to have people to have the community split on the decision of what to go to. Um, and this decision kind of came to me, or these thoughts kind of came to me around November of 22. So I took January and February off, and during that time, that was I had some personal issues, some things going on at home and things like that, and I explained that in a previous video, not the issues, but just like my little hiatus. And I was doing some thinking where I was at with Beyblade, and I know it's just a toy game, but it's a very passionate hobby of mine, and it is my escape from reality. Like most of us with the world and everything like that. But anyway, Challenger came about because once I did like put the circuit to bed, it gave me some time to think on what I actually really wanted to do as far as Beyblade within the community. And then I started thinking on my personal community. Here within North Carolina, was still thinking about the Beyblade community as a whole, WBO and non WBO. So with that, I kind of sat in the lab, like got away from. I didn't really talk to anyone about Challenger until it was done. I only talked to my wife and my kids because I wanted to be something that was authentic and something that was genuine. And like I said, it was a lot of the ideas that I've always had and put into one. There was a time period, and some of you may know, I was trying to run promotions for people to start hosting tournaments, and Board Gaming was going to help them either become a WBO organizer or help them with their first tournament by providing like a cheaper Hasbro stadium, a prizing and things like that. It got some leadway. Some people took into it, but either the promotion that I was doing wasn't good enough. I'm sorry, I just ate breakfast. I had gas in my chest, but either the promotion that I did wasn't good enough for people to know about it, or I'm not sure. So I wanted to do something like that, something that can help out with the community as far as them organizing still, and that's some of the things that you see in Challenger with the affiliated tournaments and things like that. More so, I love competitive Beyblade. I love the community basis of Beyblade, but I also love competitive Beyblade, and I wanted to incorporate that, and I wanted to have something for our locals here, but something that was also inviting for everyone to come into. And I didn't want it to conflict with anyone else's events. That's why it's going on in March. That and Playthrough Gaming, which is a convention I've been going through. I mean, going to since I want to say since it started. Big into the nerd life, and that was something that really helped me out. Just getting, like I said, another escape from reality and hosting tournaments there. So as I sat in the lab, talking to my family and got to really sit down and write out some of the things that I liked and I disliked, and really focusing on some of the things that I've seen in the community that I really wanted to implement, um, and for whatever reason, like didn't, or was honestly, and this is not rude, trying to what I felt like was pleasing the masses, but it wasn't actually pleasing the masses. It was just various thoughts and opinions from various people that just didn't work out. And I don't know how to sum it up. The circuit started more feeling like I was running around with my chick like a chicken with his head cut off, and I didn't feel like I was doing it for the enjoyment of Beyblade, and that kind of sucked. Um, I felt like I was just running around, not enjoying the game that I loved, and I was losing a lot of passion. There were some other things involved with that as well, but that's kind of what led to my hiatus to where, like January, February, I didn't run any tournaments, didn't go to any tournaments. It's just a 2 month hiatus, but I was pretty active, like every single month, either attending a tournament and hosting one, or something in the fact to not doing anything for almost 3 months. But I got that back, thankfully, and that came back with Challenger. Everything sparked back up as soon as a little bit before I went back to Playthrough Gaming Convention and some of the things that I wanted to do. Because, like I said, I love Beyblade. Still thoroughly enjoy the competitive lifestyle, but I needed something that I knew would be more balanced, and I didn't feel like a big thing. And I hope this doesn't sound weird, like I was working for anyone, because I work for someone. If you're adult or parent, even a kid, we all have these obligations that we have to do in life, and I didn't want to make my hobby or my enjoyment feel like it was work. But anyways, so Challenger, it kind of just came to me, and as I go through, I'm gonna jump into the details of it now, and with some of the ideas I had and where I was coming with that. Okay, so with Challenger, it is seasonal, so it's similar to the circuit in that regard, to where it is running on a seasonal event. I wanted to have that because I didn't want it to just be kind of stuck, and also this came with from my son and my wife, so it's not just like continuous to a grind. You get a break once the season ends, to just have some free play, just have some fun within your community or our local community, and then go from there. So the season starts in July, which is really going to work out really great this year because that's also the release for Beyblade X. And I'm not sure when the WBO will have the rules set up, but whenever it does come out, that's what we'll implement, and also set other things forth, because even if the rules don't come out till later or whatever happens, like we can still take care of that. And it'll end in March at Playthrough Gaming Convention. So, like I said, it's a convention that we've been going to, I think, since it started. We love it. We have a ball of fun. There's so much to do there, regarding the vendors, but I'll get into that a little bit later. All right, so I talked about the challenger and purpose of it, and just like the circuit, it's designed for the competitive bladers to come together, as a community, to compete on, I guess, the same like standard level, same standard rulings, just to see who is the best. And I won't say the best in the world, because I've always like had issues with that phrase, because we are the WBO, the World Beyblade Organization, or we're part of that. That's what we compete in. But mainly it's to North America. And even within North America, everyone that Beyblades isn't affiliated or a part of the WBO. And I'll speak on that also a little bit later. So I had a little blurb in there. It was just saying the best within the series, or the best who's ever able to attend the event. Um, and I feel like that's worth something, because if you're coming to it, and to build up for it, and you come and you win, you had to have done decent, because of what I hope the level of competition that you'll have to come when you come into it. All right. All right. So the affiliated challenger events, and this is really what I wanted to go over when I was making this. So this is completely unlike the circuit. So within the circuit, we had the events like everyone was running 3v3. WBO organizer, WBO ranked event, and that was good. It was the standard. And I will, yeah, it was good. It was a standard because the premise behind that, like we were thinking, running it like how other gaming events are ran. Like you have, like I have League of Legends. I play that. You have Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I'm pretty sure all these other games, and you have that simple standard, and then when you make it to your regionals, nationals, or worlds, everyone's playing the same way. But Beyblade is different, and the ideas and the thoughts I had with this, I can't remember. I think it was the second Metal Fight series, um, and they had to get a certain BR, or it might have been the first one. Had to get a certain BR, and to be able to enter into the Blader Cup, or I can't remember. Metal Fight fans, go ahead and correct me in the comments. But I remember that Jenga and everyone else, like they were going to different tournaments trying to get their points to be able to enter into the main tournament. And when they were doing that, they were playing everywhere. They weren't just playing at a normal stadium. Like they were playing everywhere. And this is real life. It's not the anime, but Beyblade is so diverse, that I didn't really want to limit it just to the B09 stadium and to a specific format. Not only because of the anime, but also because of the various communities that we have. Some people don't have B09 stadiums. Some people can't even host like a WBO tournament, whether they have problems with their internet, their parents don't want them to get onto the internet, and all they have is their friends, or they're able to only play like at school or in the park with their buddies. And I didn't want to deny them that access, because maybe their parents are willing to take them to the Challenger main event, but they want to be able to host their own. And we can't rule them out to say like, oh, they're not good or they're not the best. Because I'll be honest, some of the best bladers I've seen are not affiliated with the WBO. They'll show up to one of my tournaments, they'll make an account, um, and they play before, like in the local areas, like New York, things like that. Some in South Carolina, some in Georgia, and they'll wreck. I'll say this, like even Dark Continent is something I took away. The top three, or even the top four, but I'll say Kirito plays more within the WBO. The top three they weren't as high ranked or as high known within the WBO. JC Macon Burst, he he's a great blader. He has a lot of skill. He played in a lot of Michael Nightwing's tournaments for Bladers Kingdom, and he came and won it all. Keys to Beast and MJ the Best, second and third place, father and son. Um, they come to tournaments when they can. They had a family life going on throughout the regular year, outside of summer, outside of school year, and they still won. Um, and that's not shade towards anyone, but it's like there's so many great bladers and so many skilled bladers out there that a lot of times we don't get to see because of the heavy rules that we may implement or the heavy standards we have. So with the affiliated challenger events, I wanted there to be complete freedom. Like to the point, I don't even care if you're playing Metal Fight. You could play Metal Fight and run an affiliated challenger event. You can play Plastics and run an affiliated challenger event. You can do 5G, you can do single bay, all that, and run an affiliate or challenger event. Because one of the main goals of this also is to get out there and just play Beyblade. You just you just need to get out there and play, because the more people that see us playing, they're either going to ask questions, have that childhood nostalgia, and they'll get out there and do that too. And I didn't want to limit it to certain things. Um, that way we can leave it open and inviting to anyone that wanted to do it. All right. So affiliated challenger events, I want to say that was the main thing. For the main event though, I'll be hosting that and I'll be there. That will be WBO ranked event. But I can take care of that as an organizer, so no one else has to worry about hosting it. And you'll have your three Beyblades if you want to. If all you had was Metal Fight, if you were just playing that format, then yeah, I would have to tell you that do have to get burst. I do have some even that I can let you borrow if you needed to. And if there were any questions, it's like, and I put that blurb in there too, like if you are playing Metal Fight or playing like classic or a different type of format or anything like that, you still want to be knowledgeable on the main event if you're planning on going. That way you can prepare your community. And if you're not able to, it's still cool. It's still solid because it's like I said, like if you can play, if you could play, you can play. If you understand the mechanics of one generation, there's no reason why you won't understand the mechanics of another one. Now, some things may be a little bit different, like the size of the bay, how you have to launch it, how certain drivers react on certain with certain disc and cores and things like that. But overall, if you can play, you can play. Um, okay. So now support for hosting affiliated challenger events. So with this, I didn't want to go crazy, and this is something that I felt like I did in the past. I used to be heavy with the prizes, or I was heavy with the prizes. I wanted to give the prizes, so people could come to my events and things like that. Like nice prizes. Like this is even before the circuit, like when I first started, like battle sets and things like that. And it got to the point where, like I said, it was taxing on the store trying to do all these big things. When at the end of the day, I realized like, man, people just really want to play. People just really want to have fun. So the money and like all those extra things, it was kind of taken away from just the simplicity of just playing like if you were to play Beyblade in the park with your friends and just maybe to win a cool Beyblade. Because the first tournament I went to, it was just Beyblade prizes, and I think we got away from that because the access to so many stores. We stopped giving the Beyblade prizes because people were already having those Beyblades. So I had the idea to run maybe just give some unique ones. The tournament I'm running this month in April, it's a plastic gem Beyblade. It's something that the winner may have or they may not have. Regardless, I feel like it's a collector's item. So we'll be doing things like that, like some collector metal fights, some collector bursts. When Beyblade X releases, I will give some of those away as prizes. But just for the first place prize, because I don't want it to be like, I want us to play and enjoy the game of playing. I don't want to have to coerce anyone to play like because of these prizes and things like that. And I understand like some people may not play, it may not be worth the drive for them if the prizing isn't there. But at the same time, it's like I want to play and I want to enjoy the game. And these are some of the things that I can do with it and kind of, have people around with that same mentality that are coming for the community. Because I'll say this about Dark Continent also, it was highly competitive. And yes, we did have the cash prize, but the environment that I felt and enjoyed the most was that community atmosphere of all the different regions coming together, playing in free play, everyone getting along, and just being real like laid back and just enjoying this hobby that we love together. So with the prizing, I will offer first place prize for the events. Affiliated hosts are able to do up to 2 events, and it's gonna be random. Like I'm buying like lots of Beyblades from various Beyblade dealers because we don't sell plastics or metal fight or anything like that. We mainly have bursts. So I'm buying lots and various ones, and then as players have their events, we'll just be shipping them out. And some of these are like in Kuro boxes and things like that, so I don't even know what they are. But once a player wins, I'll just need their address and like a confirmation of the event and things like that, and then we'll ship it out. So I'll apologize beforehand if you're like getting doubled up on some prizes, but it should work out. Some things I can see, some things I can't. And it also I added like some launchers, some stadiums, some parts because this is beyond the anime, but even in like WBBA events, like they're getting exclusive parts. I can't do that. I can't give you like a gold metal bearing drift because I'm not Takara Tomy. We're just for gaming. I'm just doing what I can. But like an extreme or something that is like extreme that is very hard to get. Like that may be in a prize at an event. Like Extreme Dash or something like that. Like something that's sought after, but just a little bit difficult to get. Because overall, I feel like we're playing to enjoy the game of Beyblade. All right. So awards, and I'll go line by line. So gaining first place in affiliated challenger event. This is all for tiers. This is just there's no prizing with this. It's nothing super crazy. The tiers are just for bragging rights. It's kind of like ranking, but it's just in the tiers. Like your A tier blader, S tier blader, S plus tier blader. So if you go undefeated or godlike in affiliated challenger event, I will give you the weekend pass to come. Sorry, the video cut out for a second. To come to Playthrough Gaming Convention to the challenger main event. I feel like that's worth it because if you're going undefeated, like you're playing really well, like I really would like for you to be there also for that competitive experience. You're going undefeated and things like that. Like you gain, I feel like that title, that entry to get hooked up with doing that. And so yeah, so that's what it is. And then I said going undefeated in affiliated challenger event awards you S tier blader rating. And for tiers, I mean, it's the same as any game. Like I think I explained a little bit, but everything has a tier, like from D, C, B, A, S, and some have S plus, where like S is like elite, like A is good, like grade A, like you are great, and then you have S, which is kind of like God, like above that. So that's pretty much what that means. I don't have B tiers or anything lower. Winning challenger main award sponsorships for poor gaming. Okay, yeah. So at the this is something that I thought was pretty unique or pretty cool. I've had sponsorships in the past, but they were more random sponsorships. I wanted to do something like legitimate, like a legitimate like set in stone sponsorship. So once if you win the challenger main event, you get a sponsorship from 4Gaming, which is every new release you receive that, excluding the WBBA and Coral exclusives. But every normal Beyblade release per month, you'll be able to get that. And I wanted to do that because like, man, you came to the event, you won the entirety of the event. It's worth hooking that person up, for the time and the effort that they put into between testing, coming out, staying cool, calm, and composed, and really giving their all to make the challenger a great event and a great experience. So as a reward, an award for doing that, as well as just going out there and make sure when you're competing in the future, like you have the most up to date parts and things like that, and you don't have to worry about it. So you could just play freely for up to a year. All right. Going undefeated or godlike in challenger. Okay, so I did throw. This was an extra incentive. So it was like $200 if you go undefeated in challenger, which I feel like would be pretty difficult, especially if it's like what I'm hoping it to be, like a lot of competitive players. But I feel like that's worth something too. So we're starting off now with the $200, and then every year after that, like if someone wins it like another year, then I'm just adding another $100 to what the previous winner got. So that's more of an incentive too. Like, hey, if this year someone comes, like player A comes, and they win it all, goes undefeated, next year player B is going to be trying even harder to go undefeated. So it's like, we know we got to look out for player A because he came in, he swept us all last year. He or she swept us all last year. So we need to come and bring our A game to make sure either that doesn't happen again, or player B is like, you know what, I'm going to do what player A did last year. I've been testing, I've been battling, I'm ready to go. This is what I'm going to do. And then there's trophies for first through third and medals for top 8. And that cash prize is also capped at 1,000. That way I'm not giving out like too much. All right, so the format and style, I think I already went over this. For the main event, it's going to be WBO ranked. It's going to be closest to WBBA as possible. I'm always going to try to do that. Right now, I only know a 3G and 5G, but with Beyblade X, I have no clue what they're going to be doing. I don't know if they're coming out with a new format. I don't think they would, but who knows? I mean, if the point system is what they say it is, 3 for KOs, 2 per burst, and 1 per outspin, they may have a different format. But regardless, I'd like to play that. I'd like to implement that. I wanted to speak back on this too, because I know we complain about like the formats and the changes and this and that, and think kind of helped me on this. I'll probably iterate this more in another podcast, but it's like I am truly appreciative for all that we have, because I've been like, I complain like, oh, I want this and I want that, but honestly, I have everything, or the community has almost anything that we could ask for. within Beyblade, as far as like up to date, like with the exception of maybe like banning parts or banning BDR specifically. But it's like, hey, I don't like 1v1, but I don't have to play 1v1. I could play 3v3. And this is something I skipped over when I was talking about the affiliated challenger events. A lot of the interviews, TSO, the recent one, and with K's interview, as I go back and listen to it, was really insightful to the history of the WBO, and TSO kind of explained it more in depth. But 1v1, when you talk about that and getting to know your local community and what certain people will play, like that is a thing, your local community, your local environment, and this is why I didn't really want to dictate the play styles that they had, was because they play different. That 1v1, that's not something that we do here or something that we enjoy to do here, but that's because I'm the main host. And the way that we play, we adapt to our play styles, and then we kind of learn each other's habits and patterns. And it's the same for these other communities. And for them to keep their community going strong, I'm sure they don't want to throw like salt into the mix or something crazy that they haven't seen. So keep it going, because we all have our communities. Canada, the Pacific Northwest, Cali, Texas, Maryland, Florida. Apologize if I'm missing out on any other major communities. I know you're out there. Jersey, New York, Philly. So many. And we all have our specific ways that we want to play. And I didn't want to rob anyone of that when it comes to hosting these events. I respect that, and I saw that. Yeah, and I had before. I will admit that. As I look back on it, I was like, man, it's okay for everyone to play the way they want to play. Pretty much in the format and systems, because it's kind of lengthy. But all I'm saying is that there'll be a time period to like I'll always let the format be known for the challenger main event. That way, various communities can prepare for it ahead of time. It'll always be known by September 1st of every season. Um, yeah. And there's some blurbs in here about like system releases and things like that. Y'all can look at that. I don't really want to go over that because I feel like I've been talking too much. But pretty much, it's pretty straightforward. Um, the format for the main event of Challenger will be either 5G or 3G or whatever WBA is doing and WBO allows. Hopefully, the unlimited format. Fingers crossed. Um, so attending the Challenger's main event. This is not an invitational. Um, I don't ever want to make it an invitational, unless it grows like super huge. Um, but and that will only be to be like, okay, well, we're gonna have to limit because I want to keep it capped from between 24 to 64 players for Swiss, with the current rule set and organizing in the WBO, and I don't want to go over that. Um, so, but if like 200 people, if it comes to that, are trying to join it, then we may have to be more selective. But anyways, for right now, anyone can come. You don't have to go to any affiliated challenger event. You could have never played a single tournament in your life. If you want to come to Beyblade, to the challenger main event, you could come. And the only caveat, I think that's the right word to say that, if you have like in the future, like S and A tiers, like if all those players from everywhere, if they totaled up to 64, they would have priority on joining the event. And that was mainly because I wanted to do I still wanted to be competitive. Fun, but also highly competitive. So they would have priority. I cannot see now or anytime in the near future to where there'll be 64 S and A tier players. Um, God willing, it'll happen, but I can't see it anytime in the near future. Um, so what we're gonna just try to do is continue to play, come out as you can. There's no invitation or anything like that, and it's a 2-day event. And I'm jumping into the next section about playthrough gaming. It's a 2-day event. So Saturday, I plan on running the Challenger main event, and then Sunday, It's either going to consist of like a metal fight tournament if I get assistance from someone who has that or is very knowledgeable in that, TSO or Geekster or anyone that may come down, or even Dark Mousy. Um, that'll be Sunday, or even like a classic event, or we could do a burst standard event. Like, it doesn't really matter. It could just be all free play. But I wanted to have the main event on Saturday, and then just pure fun, getting to hang out and chill with your friends with no stress of a tournament. Or if it is a tournament, it's just a casual tournament on Sundays, 2 day event. So if you're coming in, you have both days to join. So now talking about playthrough is fun. Like, it's not like a super crazy convention. It's still growing, but it does have cosplay contests. It is a gaming convention. You'll see old school arcade games from like Super Mario, Nintendo. There's some of the PlayStation 1 games. Like, you'll see Ataris out there, a lot of arcade games. You'll see a lot of tabletop games. So you'll see people in there playing heavily D&D. A lot of trading card games. You'll see Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments going on, Pokemon tournaments going on. You'll see PC gaming going on. There's a big stage and a screen, which I like. I haven't been able to enjoy as much because we're vending at the location, so I can't always leave my booth. But they do have like Rocket League tournaments and Smash Brother tournaments on a big screen and stage, which is really cool. The cosplay contest, which is really cool, and I do always make that because it's always like right when our vending stores are closed, and my wife will let me go over there to look at the cosplay contest, as well as see a little bit of the tournament. So I'll go over there with my daughters because they're very excited and possibly getting into cosplay. But anyways, that is what the convention is like. Um, and it's just a joyous time, I think, with the community and for the community. And I wanted to be able to introduce the community to that. And I think if I was to lead us on a final note, I hope you all enjoy this series or enjoy this idea and can share it with me. If you're not able to make it to North Carolina, not able to make it here, I understand that. And we talk about big events and things like that, but there are so many right now. Because I used to look at it, like I said, I was looking at it, I didn't want anything to conflict, like what Florida had going on. But there's so many other events, like there's Beyblade North. There's the Pacific Northwest Challenge hosted by Zector. Texas has the Texas Circuit going on. And I used to, at one point, I was looking at it like, man, there's all these big things. Like, we could all do something together. But that's one of the beauties of WBO is we can do it all together, and we also have the option to be able to do something for our locals. And that is a big thing because everyone can't travel, but everyone wants to have fun and play Beyblade. And we all have our different styles. We have the different interests. Like, I'm heavily competitive focused, and I believe Zector is too. I think that's an invitational event, for the top in his region, and they deserve that. Beyblade North, the WBO's, I think, longest running big scale tournament. Like, that's a big deal. Florida with they have their events, which are super cool, super nice. And the creativity with them. And Texas, a growing scene um, with their events and what they have going on, and it's sweet. I even Nightwing has his event with Bladers Kingdom um, within the Maryland scene, and those are beautiful and unique things to see. And as the slogan goes for the WBO, play Beyblade together. Dang, I messed that up every time I'm trying to say it. But it is a thing. And even though we're not like physically together, we all playing and growing. And we have the options, just like we do with the formats, um, different styles that we play to be able to have different things that we can attend and go to. So that's what I wanted to speak on. Just have some clarity with Challenger. If you got any questions about it, leave it in the comments below. We'll get back to doing our interviews and podcast overall. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this is a great series, something great, a great addition to the community. And take care.